Hello everyone. So yet another week done with football and FPL. 11 weeks done now, and slowly we're getting towards that World Cup deadline. 5 more weeks left before that, and yeah, this was again a very dramatic week. Lots of drama. I think a lot of controversial decisions as well. And yeah, eventually, though it was a pretty bad week for me, but eventually I ended the week with a very small green arrow, which is a bit surprising, but at the same time, seeing the arrow green after having a pretty bad week for most of it is quite satisfactory. So I made two transfers last week. One was very obvious. I had to take Trent out. Trent is back actually now. I'm regretting that a bit. I took Trent out. I bought in Lewis Dunk eventually. And Dunk just got 1 point. And I'm kind of regretting that call. Maybe I could have downgraded him further, released a little bit more fund. Or maybe, I had just not made that move. Whatever it be, it in a way it enabled me to, do another transfer towards the end of the week. It just came to me, and I sold Mo Salah last week. I bought in Zaha. And like last week when I sold off Salah, the Champions League game with Rangers played a big part in making that call, because Salah was playing very wide in that game. But the return fixture, Salah was of course benched against Rangers this week. He came on and he played through the middle. He came on for Darwin Nunez and he was playing through the middle and he got a hat trick. It just looked like he was caged. He was not in a very happy space. He came in and he absolutely smashed it. The fastest hat trick. And that just made me, if Salah was going to play through the middle and in a way where he's going to be open to the counterattacks that we create, like the way he does when he plays on the right hand side. Because this is not actually the 4-2-3-1 that we played in 2018. I think it's very different. Initially I doubted it, but right now I think it is genuinely the two strikers playing in this formation, not a number 10 and a number 9. I think one of them was dropping a bit sometimes, but they're two strikers, and Firmino and Salah playing together, which I had a very strong feeling that would be the case. I've written on social media again and again that I had a very strong feeling that Darwin Nunez was going to get benched in this game and we are going to go with Elliot, Jota, Firmino and Salah. That's exactly what happened, and Salah has a pretty good record against Man City. And that is why I made this very late call. I had 9.2 million in the bank after selling Trent for Lewis Dunk. And I used that money. To sell Josh Da Silva, and I bought in Salah. I bought Salah back. Return of the King. And of course, the reason I bought him it is because I did not want to watch City and Liverpool play each other, where I have two City players and I have zero Liverpool players, and I'm captaining Erling Haaland. That was not going to happen. And yeah, so I bought in Salah. I captained him straight away. And yeah, it paid off. Now Salah ended up with 8 points. Haaland blanked for the very first time this season, which I'm not really surprised with. But yeah, captaining Salah instead of Haaland gained me 6 points, which played a very big part in me getting green arrow eventually, because the rest of the week was really poor. And I was expecting a significant downslide. Anyway, so I'm really glad Salah is back in my FPL team. I've got him for 0.1 less than the price I sold him at. And yes, a lot of people are going to bring in Salah now. In Game Week 12, City and Arsenal are blanking, as we know. We have been planning for that blank for a couple of weeks at least, maybe more than that. And yeah, so Game Week 12, my Game Week 12 team is okay, I would say. The planning did not really go to the direction that I was hoping for, because I was very sure on selling Ramsdale. Now Danny Ward is playing regularly, so I'm just going to play him. I don't need Ramsdale. I don't need to buy a new goalkeeper. And the other moves that I was thinking of, at one time I was thinking of selling Martinelli. He stayed. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Just reviewing this game week 11 first. So this was, of course, a week of goalkeepers. It started with a massive David Raya haul. I think he got a 12 pointer, 10 pointer, something like that. Big score. And I had Ramsdale, and he has been, he has not really been making those saves this season, and he just made 4 saves against Leeds today. And he ended up with a 10-point haul. And that was another, I'd say, after Salah, that was probably the biggest rank gainer for me. I really needed that after all the goalkeepers went crazy. And yeah, Ramsdale Leeds, in a way, I'd say it was a bit lucky, because Leeds did get a penalty which Bamford missed. And I'm also happy that I watched that live, because as soon as I would have heard that Leeds have missed a penalty, I would have been hoping for a Ramsdale penalty save, which was not the case. Bamford just hit it wide. But still, Ramsdale made 4 saves and he got the full bonus points. So that's 10 points. That's at least evening it up with a lot of other goalkeepers. Trippier, another clean sheet. United Newcastle game, I watched it in bits here and there. It was a decent game, not the most entertaining game. I thought some of the games were really poor this week. And United Newcastle, if some of the other games were not worse than that, I think that it would have gone that direction as well. But towards the end, United did have some good chances, and they missed all of them, and it ended 0-0. Trippier just got 6 points. No bonus. That's a bit surprising, because he took some really good set pieces. And yeah, he could have got a few assists as well. But anyway, everyone has him, so it doesn't really matter. Cancelo, if I had genuine faith in my options on the bench and Liverpool were playing the way Liverpool play, I would have probably not picked Cancelo, because Cancelo generally doesn't perform against Liverpool. And yeah, last season Salah got the better of him, scoring that beautiful goal. All the goals of the season, if you remember. And this year he just made things even worse for Cancelo by absolutely turning him inside out and running one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So Cancelo got 2. Again, a very highly owned player, so that didn't really matter. Luis Dunk came in, 1 point. Okay, that's okay. Now coming to the midfield, Andres Pereira got 5 points. He got an assist. Last week I did not play him, he scored. This week I played him, he got 5 points. And Salah, of course, captain, 8 points. Now that could have been much more. He missed a few chances. I don't know why. He just did not get any bonus points in this game. He was miles down on bonus points in spite of scoring the winning goal. He did miss a couple of chances. And I don't know, why the bonus point system, it just seems biased towards some players. I'm sure there is a calculation behind that. But it just feels like it's really biased towards some. Harry Kane always has very high bonus points, even if he's missing a lot of big chances and he's offside a few times. Even if he gets booked, he generally ends up with 3 points. And Salah did have a few chances. He also created a few chances. I thought he created a really good chance for Jota in the second half. And yeah, he went close. Ederson made a very good save. But that counted as a goal kick, so that ideally shouldn't be a big chance missed. Maybe, I don't know. And towards the end of the game, Salah was free on a couple of occasions when Darwin Núñez decided to just shoot. On the first occasion, Salah actually clapped for him. And I'm very sure the second occasion he would be frustrated because there was no space for Nunez to shoot, and it did. And it was a precious situation. He could have released Jota, he could have run towards the flag, and he decided to shoot and he gave the ball away in a very crucial moment of the game. So 8 points it is. Maybe if he scored another goal, I think I would have got inside top 1 million. That did not happen. The green arrow would have been much bigger because Salah's EO was so far down this week. In top 10k, Salah's EO was 5 point something, 5.1%. At my rank, it was somewhere around 19%. So any point he scored, just a single point from him, would have given a significant boost to my ranking. And 8 points it is, 6 points gained on Haaland. So yeah. Martinelli blanked, 3 points, got a clean sheet point. But you don't expect anyone to perform every week, so that is okay. Maddison was really disappointing. Crystal Palace and Leicester's game, it was such a poor game. First game of the week, I felt like pulling the hair out of my head watching that game. And the ball was just scattered around the midfield, and every time someone tried to pick a forward pass, they gave the ball away. Maddison had a poor game as well, but he could have scored. He could have got an assist. Instead, in the very last event of the game, in the 94th minute or 95th minute, he decided to get booked, which was of course his 5th yellow, which means he's going to miss game week 12, where we need every player that we can afford. And for a lot of people, that was really disappointing because they would have probably got 11 players out, or whatever the numbers they've got. Maddison is a very popular pick among the active managers, and in a way I like it because now this means that people are going to take different decisions. Some people are going to just be okay with playing with 10 players, and some are going to bring the obvious picks. Some are going to be very, very different. Picking someone like Salah is difficult, but at the same time, going towards Salah would become quite obvious now. So yeah, it gives people a decision to make, which is something I really like about FPL. You just don't get to do the most obvious thing and get away with it. So yeah, but it felt bad for Maddison because he's trying to get in the England squad for the World Cup, and he'd miss a game, which is doing no favor to his chances. And he had a really poor game when Southgate was there at the stadium. So anyway, 2 points for Maddison. Zaha, 3 points. He came off early. He was playing really, really wide, and he looked frustrated. And if frustrated, Wilfried Zaha is generally not a great FPL option because his mind could go anytime. Now that also just does not really make sense to me because Zaha was doing so well playing through much more centrally last season, and ever since he has become a popular FPL pick, very obvious of the season. He has absolutely he's playing typical Wilfried Zaha, trolling football. Some of the shots he took yesterday were absolutely horrendous, I think. And yeah, I think eventually when he was taken off, he is the talisman of the team. But when he was taken off, I think it was quite justified because he was so poor. Now he has some excellent fixtures coming up, of course, and that we'll probably have to keep track of. And that is probably why I'm probably going to hold him until I don't know, maybe game week 16, maybe I'll carry him to the World Cup break. But there are lots of other things to sort out. But at the moment, if I was not having Zaha, I'd strongly consider, not buying him. He may even get dropped in one of the next 2 games. So yeah, that was my midfield then. Quite disappointing, like the defense. Salah, the only shining light. And up front, two very highly owned strikers, Gabriel Jesus. There were rumors of him being injured. He was not injured. He started the game and he played for 80 minutes and he did not do much. The Arsenal Leeds game was very watchable at times, but also that at times it was dragging a bit. There were a lot of controversies in that game. And eventually I was happy with the clean sheet, and that's it. Jesus, anyway, in spite of being kind of a differential in many leagues, he's 70% owned at my rank. So I would have preferred him not playing, but did, and that's okay. And Haaland with his very first blank of the season against Liverpool, and I'm so happy. I hope he blanks a little bit more in the future, and that is going to spread out our captaincy options once again, which is the kind of chaos you want when you are sitting, far down below, and you want people to make decisions and not pick a permanent captain for themselves every week. Now, I have been regularly captaining against Haaland. So far, the first occasion was when he played Aston Villa. I'd captained Nico Williams in that game, and Haaland scored 9, Nico scored 4, so I lost 5 points there. The second one was 2 weeks before. Haaland absolutely had that mammoth. How much did he score? 23 or 24, something like that. And Madison got how much? 18? Or Haaland got 23. I don't remember exactly. Overall, I lost 9 or 10 points for not captaining Haaland ever since he became a permanent pick. And I recovered 6 of those points this week with the captaincy on Salah. So yeah, anyone who captained Kane, Salah, anyone else, brave call. Because normally, unless you are not captaining someone on their name, this was probably not the week where you would want to captain someone like Haaland. And yeah, the biggest tragedy for me this week was my bench. Oh man, Danny Wood got a clean sheet. I missed out both his clean sheets so far. I'm very sure he's going to concede in the coming week when I absolutely need him to keep a clean sheet. So Danny Wood scored 6. I had Justin. I had absolutely no hope of Leicester keeping a clean sheet. I benched them both. Leicester kept a clean sheet. Both of them got 6 points. Now I benched Mitrovic, which was quite obvious because the rumors were that he was going to sit out. He had just come back to training on Friday, and after just one training session, he's probably starting a game. He's that important for them, I understand. But anyway, I was thinking that he was going to start on the bench and maybe come on, and I did not want a one-pointer. I thought he struggled a bit in that game, the first half. Second half, I think Fulham were putting a lot of balls into the box, and he's good in the air. He's winning a lot of balls in the box. And penalties really did me bad this week. Tony got a penalty which was kind of dodgy. Harry Kane got a penalty which was dodgy. Now Mitrovic got a penalty which was actually a penalty. And he converted that. And 7 points. 6-6-7, and I had Nico Williams as my third sub. So I had 21 points left on the bench, which generally I never have. So it hurt a lot. I ended the week with 48 points after the -4 hit. And yeah, it was a 3% green arrow. I'm still hovering around 1.1, 1.2 million. But I could have dropped to 1.5, 1.6, maybe 2 million this week. And yeah, we keep knocking. I'm sure after I break the 1 million barrier, it's going to get better. Because sometimes, it's very obvious. There are some barriers that you find it difficult to break. Some people find the 100k barrier very difficult to break, and I have had problems there as well. There was a time I had never entered beyond 100k, 2 seasons back at this time, and finally when it happened, it it got really, it got much better after that. And yeah, point differences are still very marginal. So I'm not that worried about points or rank right now. I just want to keep chasing and, you know, build team value at the same time having the best players in my team. So anyway, plans for game week 12. It's a blank game week. These are the game weeks which actually make FPL fun, because there are decisions to make. A lot of people were not aware about this. They would have transferred in people like, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden over the last couple of weeks, and now suddenly, they have 3 Arsenal players, 3 City players, few injuries, and they may be required to play the free hit chip this week, which is not bad if you want to, because if you have 7-8 players out, maybe you should play it. But there will be, more blanks in the future. You should be aware of that, and it could be much bigger blanks than this one, especially that, game week where a handful of teams who have gone out of FA Cup, they are the only ones who are playing in Premier League that week. That falls somewhere around game week 30, maybe 34, 32, something like that. So anyway, my plans were actually to transfer Jesus out this week, and I had 2 options. One was to get Darwin Núñez. That is, the pick that my heart says as a Liverpool fan. Now, I'm not 100% sure that Núñez is going to start against West Ham. I think he will, because West Ham are a team which is very good in the air and will need that aerial dominance against them. And then, of course, Liverpool have got Nottingham Forest. That is another game I'd expect Darwin Núñez to start. Now, I do expect him to start now with, Jota suffering a pretty bad injury. It looked like a bad injury. If Jota is out, I think Núñez is going to start on the left wing. Can he play there? We'll see, but I think he was drifting on the left side quite a lot today after he came on. And yeah, I cannot see us playing Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho regularly, in every game. Both of them, I mean. So, anyway, and the other option is, of course, to bring in Ivan Toney, who still has some very good fixtures. And logically, that is probably going to be the move I make, because that makes things easier for me in the future as well. If I transfer Toney in this week in place of Gabriel Jesus, then I can, then there is a decision to make, because Maddison is out and I'll be playing with 10 men. If I don't make another move, I'll of course have to take a hit. And yeah, in a game week like this, I don't really mind it, because a hit cost me 4 points. So the player I go for, if they play, and if they score 2 points, that's -2. So that is the law of probability says that that's probably the floor of that player. It can't, unless they get booked or something, it cannot get below that. And then there is an opportunity where, they get a return and suddenly, the hit has paid off. Even if it's for just this week. Now, this time it's going to be very much about this week only, because in game week 13, whoever I bring in, that will probably be my transfer, because I was supposed to transfer Maddison out in game week 13 and bring in, Saka or Foden, someone like that. And so that means whoever I bring in this week, they're going to go, and this move is going to be for this week only, and I need them to score 4 points to break even. Anything above that, that's a bonus. That is the point I generate by making this transfer. So yeah, I'll consider it. And someone like Leandro Trossard is being transferred in a lot. He has a fixture against Nottingham Forest, and Brighton have been I've not been too impressed by them under that new boss. I think they're playing the same formation, and playing style has not been that great. Of course, the game at Anfield was good, 3-3, and Spurs Brighton was boring. I thought Brentford and Brighton was not the greatest game in the world either, when you expect it to be, because both the teams actually have some decent players. So we'll see. Any player somewhere around 9 millions is affordable. So we'll see who we bring in, and yeah, that is it then. 12 is of course a midweek fixture, so the deadline is going to be Tuesday night, and then we have another round of games on next weekend as well. So anyway, so this is it then. Just 5 more weeks left before the World Cup, and I think since every one of us are going to have full transfers, we'll start fresh again after the World Cup. This 5 weeks we're going to have fun, and we'll try to attack and generate as many points as possible. Yeah, that is the target.